Hi guys, today I wanted to talk about issue that I was recently experiencing with one of my truck. The APU would run for like 2 to 3 minutes and it will shut off. And this is the solution I found to the problem. So these are the possible causes that it's shutting off. It might throw you a Alt 3 code, or it could be the main fuse. And other thing I was experiencing was the APU will run and suddenly the control panel where you adjust the temperature and the fan speed will lose power and the APU will turn off. And within a second, it will turn on, but the APU won't turn on, so you have to press the button again to restart it again. So here are the possible solutions I found to the problem. Excuse me. So for the Alt 3 code, it's basically referring to the alternator. This belt could be loose. If you get too much play in this belt, the belt might be slipping off the alternator, not really spinning the alternator, and not thus throwing the code. Or you could have a bad alternator. And the third one, which is belt, if you check the belt already is tight and you open the panel and you run the APU and you can see the alternator spinning, then most likely it's your fuse. I didn't know till 2 days ago that the alternator also has its own fuse, which is located inside the engine bay. You just gotta look around the alternator and to see this wire. The fuse looks exactly like this. It has a wire and it has a cover, and the fuse is in between, and it's a 3 amp fuse. Where I found my fuse was right next to the starter of the where the starter is located. It was right there. So you just gotta look around. Yours might be at a different location, but you do have an alternator fuse in the engine bay. And when I tried to pull it out, it was pretty much stuck into the holder, and basically had to pry it out. And I did not check the fuse. I just replaced it because I found recently, even though the fuse looks okay, it might still be bad. And I just don't leave things to a chance. Now, as that fuse itself is a 3 amp fuse, it might just cost you like 20 cents or 15 cents to change one fuse. It's not worth the hassle to see if the fuse is okay or not. Just change it. That way you know for sure the fuse is not the problem, and you can move on to different things. So for me, luckily it was that fuse, but I found it because my APU, I fixed the problem. I did a service on it. I did a couple of things, but it was still giving me a hard time. And once I replaced that fuse, it was 3 amp fuse, and I put a 5 amp fuse. I don't recommend you putting a higher amperage fuse, but I did. Or it could be your main fuse. Before changing the alternator fuse, I did end up replacing the main fuse on the APU. I think it's a 40 amp or a 50 amp fuse. This holder, over time, you could have like burn marks inside the holder where the what you call the fuse connects. So the fuse is not making proper contact, or this wire, these wires could be loose, where you don't have a proper connection. And you could have a fuse that doesn't look blown, but it's blown. So that could be your another issue. Or it works for a second and after that it just cuts out. I know it's kind of weird, but it could happen. So check your main fuse if you're having that issue. Another thing I was experiencing was when I pressed the on button and the APU button, the APU will start normally. After a minute or two, I would lose the power into this control panel. So I looked under the main computer motherboard, and I looked at every single fuse. I basically ended up changing every single fuse that was in there because I couldn't find the problem. Then I looked into the battery compartment where your tractor's battery is at, and I found this holder, fuse holder. Turns out it controls the electricity that goes into this control panel, and it's also a 3-amp fuse. Please, if you're experiencing a problem where your APU runs and this thing turns off on you and it turns back on, but the APU doesn't turn on back, then it could be this fuse. Just replace it. And hopefully that fixes your problem. Okay guys, I hope this helps you guys to diagnose your APU and fix the problem and save some money. If you guys like what I show on my channel, please like, share, subscribe. And if you guys have any questions, please leave it in the comment box. And if you have any suggestion to make changes to the channel, please let me know, and I'll try to make those changes in my next videos. Okay guys, you guys have a good day. Bye bye.